Hi everyone, in this video I will illustrate the use of the DJI Mavic 3 QuickShots features that were added in the firmware update in January of 2022. The upcoming flights were conducted over the St. Croix River on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin. The town in the distance that you'll see in the video is Prescott, Wisconsin. So if you're just starting out with DJI drones and are not familiar with QuickShots, in this video we're going to take a look at these preset flight patterns that you can run in the DJI Fly app. They're executed by drawing a square around an object such as a car or a person, and then selecting the predetermined flight path and then selecting Start. When you do that, the DJI drone will fly for you in a preset pattern. So to access QuickShots, the first thing we need to do is switch out of photo or video mode and go into QuickShots. So here I'm scrolling down on my tablet and selecting QuickShots. Now we have different versions of QuickShots that we can execute, such as Dronie, Rocket, Circle, Helix, and others. So here I'm scrolling down and selecting Circle. Then I'm going to draw a square around the object that I want to fly a circle around, and then hit Start. So once we've done that, the DJI software recognized that the object we've drawn a square around was a vehicle, and it begins flying an automated flight in a circle around this vehicle. Keep in mind to leave enough space around objects and vehicles when you're doing these flight patterns. Although obstacle avoidance is turned on in this situation, there always is the possibility that there might be a thin wire or a branch that the Mavic 3 obstacle avoidance might not see. So always make sure to leave enough space around the vehicle before executing any of these quick shots. Alright, the next quick shot we'll do is called Helix. So we go back into the menu. Right above the Start button, we select the icon. We're still in QuickShots. We're going to scroll around and select Helix. Here we do have the ability to control the maximum radius of the pattern. So because there's a hill and trees in the distance, I have selected a little bit closer pattern. Then we still have the vehicle traced and identified as a vehicle, so I just hit Start. And then now we have a pattern that's referred to as Helix. So we can see here that we're starting in somewhat close to the vehicle. And as we're going around in this circle, our altitude is increasing slightly at this point. And it's getting a little bit higher yet, just gradually. And it appears that our distance is changing as well. So rather than just an even circle all the way around the vehicle, just have a little bit more of a dynamic shot with a Helix quick shot. So in this quick shot, since the ending point is at a different spot than where we took off, at the end of the quick shot, the software will fly the Mavic 3 back to the original location. Alright, now we're going to do Boomerang. So I've gone back into the menu. Rather than Helix, I am scrolling down and selecting Boomerang. Here we don't get to control the distance or the height. I did need to go ahead and draw a square around the vehicle again, and then selected Start. So now in Boomerang, we're spinning around the vehicle. You can see we started out around 15 feet, now we're at 19 feet, so we're gaining in altitude at a more drastic rate than in the last shot. If you look in the lower left-hand corner map, you can see so far we had been pretty much spinning circles around the vehicle, but now for the first time we're getting closer to the shoreline and the trees and gaining more dramatically in altitude. So with a Boomerang, it starts low, and then by the time you get to the 180 degree point, then you have gained in maximum altitude, and then it goes back down. Now, unfortunately, as you just saw there in boomerang mode, there was a problem. Somehow, 50 feet in the air, the obstacle avoidance decided that it saw an obstacle that it needed to avoid, so it abandoned the boomerang quick shot. But the gist of it would be that it would go up at the highest point behind that vehicle and then would have come back down to where it started again. So here we're doing a Dronie shot. I do need to go ahead and draw a square around the object that I'm wanting to trace, or I could just hit the plus symbol with my finger because the software is already identifying that's a car. Here I did fly in a little bit closer to the vehicle just to get a little bit better of a shot. And then I selected start. So with the Dronie, the Mavic 3 is flying backwards away from the object that you've selected and creating a nice smooth backwards flight while increasing in altitude. And then once the quick shot is complete, the Mavic 3 will return back to the starting position. All right, now that it's back in the starting position, we're going to go ahead and select rocket. So again, I've drawn a square around the vehicle. I've selected start. And with rocket, the Mavic 3 increases in altitude and then pans the gimbal down, keeping the camera on the object that you've selected, so you get a nice smooth shot transitioning from a side view to a top-down view of the object. Once the quick shot is complete, then once again the Mavic 3 will return back to the starting location. Now, all of these shots are going to be available in part 2 of this video. I will be posting that clip and providing a link at the end of this video to it, so you can see all of these shots in succession to music, full screen in the full resolution. So here we're selecting Asteroid. Now this is kind of a cool effect. It is a lower resolution effect. So when you create this is where all of the other shots were 4K. This one, as you can see in the bottom screen, is 1080p. So it's not the highest resolution, but it's good for social media. So once again, selected the object, selected start. And with this quick shot, the Mavic 3 increases in altitude, and as it gets to the maximum altitude, takes a series of pictures to put together a 360-degree tiny planet view. Now you can see the Mavic 3 no longer recognizes the vehicle as being a vehicle, and it lost track of it slightly. So instead you saw the GPS graphic on the screen. So it's just kind of trying to guesstimate where the vehicle was based on its last coordinates. So here the camera is taking a picture in all directions, up, down, and sideways. And then in camera, it will go ahead and stitch all those together. Now you'll be able to see that video in part 2 of this video. Again, there'll be a link at the end of the video where you can see the outcome of this quick shot asteroid over the St. Croix River. Once the quick shot is complete, the Mavic 3 will return to the original starting location of the quick shot. So those are the different quick shot automated flight functions that you can execute on your DJI Mavic 3 drone as of January 2022 firmware release. To watch a video created from these quick shots, go ahead and follow the link in the description of this video to part 2. Thanks for watching.